There are mornings when the light enters the kitchen in a different way, softer, almost hesitant, as if it understands that the body standing there has lived many decades and carries quiet stories in its bones. Perhaps you felt this too. The moment when you open a cabinet or look at the stove and realize that eating has become a task, not a pleasure. Appetite changes, energy rises and falls unpredictably, and some days the idea of preparing a full meal feels heavier than the food itself. It happens slowly, almost invisibly, like dust settling on a shelf. One day you simply notice that you are eating less, or eating whatever is easiest, without considering what your body now needs to stay strong. And yet, inside you, there is a quiet desire that doesn't disappear with age, a desire to walk without fear of falling, to lift yourself from a chair without effort, to remember names without hesitation, a desire for independence, for clarity, for a body that, even if slower, still responds when you call on it. These desires are not vanity, they are dignity. They are the foundations of a life that still has movement and meaning. Many people after 60 live with a secret worry that their strength is slipping away, not dramatically but in small, steady increments. It shows up in the way stairs feel taller, how jars feel harder to open, how memory seems to hide behind a thin curtain. You are not imagining it, and you are not alone in feeling it. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, who dedicated more than a century of life to studying the human body, used to say that after 60, we become a bit like carefully preserved antiques, not fragile in a dramatic way, but deserving of consistent, thoughtful care. A small scratch matters, a little dust matters, and the right maintenance, applied daily, can preserve beauty and function far longer than most people expect. He believed that the body speaks softly at first, whispering for nutrients, for steadier energy, for balance. When we ignore those whispers, weakness arrives quietly. When we listen, even simple meals can become powerful allies. In places where people live into their 90s with steady steps and clear minds, their secret isn't complicated diets or expensive supplements. It's what researcher Dan Buettner observed again and again in longevity regions. Meals built from simple combinations of foods that naturally support strength, mobility, and brain health. Nothing fancy, nothing exhausting to prepare. Just pairs or trios of ingredients that balance one another, offering protein, fiber, natural fats, and minerals the way nature intended. These small combinations act like daily maintenance for an aging body, nourishing muscle fibers, protecting bone density, feeding the brain, and keeping digestion gentle. And this brings us to the heart of our conversation today. Not recipes, not strict meal plans, but 7 simple meal combinations that work quietly in the background to support your muscles, your bones, and your mind. Combinations made of everyday foods you can find in any regular store. Combinations that don't demand long cooking sessions, complicated tools, or large portions. Just modest, nourishing pairings that keep the body awake, responsive, and supported. The truth is that feeding yourself well after 60 doesn't need to be a battle. It doesn't need to drain your energy or your patience. In fact, it should give energy back. Every small, intentional plate you prepare becomes a message to your body. I am still taking care of you. I am still here. These meal combos are not about perfection or strict rules. They are about quiet maintenance, about choosing foods that give back more than they take, about protecting your autonomy so you can continue standing, moving, remembering, and living with confidence. So let us walk together through these combinations, one gentle step at a time. Each one carries its own reason, its own wisdom, its own form of support. And with every section, think of how these foods might fit into your days without strain. Think of how a simple plate can become an act of strength. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to rush. Just listen, absorb, consider. Your body has carried you through a lifetime. Now it's time to offer it small, thoughtful moments of nourishment in return. Let's begin. There comes a moment after 60 when strength no longer announces itself loudly. It doesn't fade in a single day, nor does it collapse all at once. It slips away little by little in the way the arms tire sooner while carrying groceries, or how the legs take a breath before rising from a chair. Many people assume this decline is inevitable, but often it's simply the body asking for support in a language that is quiet and easily overlooked. One of the most subtle signals appears in mealtime habits. As appetite shrinks or routines become simpler, protein is often eaten alone, a piece of meat here, an egg there. without the supportive fats that help the body absorb nutrients and recover more steadily. The result is not dramatic, but noticeable. Energy that rises quickly and drops quickly, muscles that repair more slowly, afternoons that feel heavier than they should. What the body truly needs at this stage is not more food, but better balance. Beef and eggs hold amino acids that become increasingly important with age, especially when the body starts to lose muscle more easily. These amino acids act like tiny building blocks, repairing the fibers you rely on for walking, standing, lifting, and even maintaining posture. But they work best when paired with a gentle, natural fat that slows digestion just enough to keep energy steady and give your muscles time to truly use what you feed them. This is where avocado enters with quiet efficiency. Its fats do not weigh the stomach down. Instead, they support hormone balance and help the body maintain a stable rhythm of repair. Together, the three ingredients form a slow, steady source of nourishment that lingers rather than disappears quickly. It may seem surprising, but in many regions where elders live long, steady lives, whether in the countryside or tucked into old neighborhoods, meals naturally combine protein with plant fats. A small piece of meat cooked in olive oil, an egg eaten alongside something creamy and fresh, a plate that blends richness and simplicity. These communities are not chasing diets or trends. They are simply honoring a harmony between foods that help each other work better. This quiet balance reduces the heaviness that sometimes follows protein-heavy meals, making nourishment easier on the stomach and gentler on the energy levels of older adults. For days when appetite is low or energy feels limited, a modest plate can be enough. A small portion of beef, half an avocado, and a single egg can offer a meaningful dose of amino acids and healthy fats without requiring long hours in the kitchen. It's a combination that respects the reality of living alone, managing fatigue, or cooking with limited mobility. Prepared with calm intention, it becomes a ritual rather than a task, a moment where you choose to support your body without overwhelming yourself. Some people enjoy preparing all three at once. Others spread them through the day in 2 small meals. Both ways offer steady support. Think of this trio as a support beam inside an old but well-built house. Each piece has its role. The beef gives structure, the egg adds reinforcement, and the avocado cushions and stabilizes the whole frame. When these three work together, the body doesn't have to fight so hard to maintain strength. It doesn't have to draw from reserves that are already stretched thin. It can simply receive, repair, and continue on with a little more steadiness. And in a life where small challenges can feel bigger with age, even subtle improvements in strength can bring back confidence in movement, in balance, in everyday tasks. Let us continue gently, moving to the next combination and the quiet support it offers. Subscribe to stay close to simple habits that keep your strength and clarity alive after 60. There are days when the body feels heavier than usual, not because of weight, but because the structure that once held everything with ease no longer responds as quickly. Knees speak louder on the stairs, the spine stiffens after sitting. Even a small cough lingers longer than expected. Many older adults quietly shift towards softer, simpler foods, out of convenience or discomfort, not realizing that these choices may offer comfort, but not the deeper nourishment bones and immunity depend on. Over time, the body begins to whisper through small signs: a little more fatigue, slower healing after a minor strain, a sense that resilience is thinning. These whispers deserve attention, not alarm. They simply reflect a body that needs minerals, vitamins, and gentle energy from foods that were once part of daily life but have slowly drifted away. Chicken, broccoli, and sweet potatoes form a trio that answers those needs in a surprisingly comforting way. Chicken offers protein the body can use without much effort. As the digestive system ages, certain foods become harder to break down, but chicken remains friendly, familiar, and accessible to the stomach. Broccoli brings vitamin C in a form the body uses for tissue repair, the same vitamin that helps maintain the integrity of bone and supports the immune system with quiet consistency. Sweet potatoes add complex carbohydrates, the kind that help the body feel nourished without causing sudden rises and falls in energy. Their natural sweetness provides a warming, grounding sensation that feels particularly soothing for those who often eat alone or who have lost the pleasure of cooking. Across several Asian households, especially among families who care deeply for their elders, this gentle trio appears again and again in soups, broths, and simple stews. not because of nutritional charts, but because experience taught them that a mild protein, a cruciferous vegetable, and a root vegetable together create a meal that comforts the stomach, strengthens the body, and soothes the mind. These dishes are often prepared for grandparents recovering from illness, for parents needing warmth during colder months, or for anyone whose body needs both nourishment and calm. There is wisdom in these traditions, shaped not by scientific language, but by centuries of observing how certain combinations help the body endure. For someone living alone or with limited mobility, this combination can be prepared in a way that respects energy levels and physical limitations. Chicken strips can be roasted or gently pan-cooked with minimal effort. Broccoli softens quickly when steamed or simmered for a few minutes. Sweet potatoes, when microwaved or baked, require almost no attention. With only a handful of steps, the plate comes together as something warm, colorful, and satisfying. It offers nourishment without ordeal and comfort without excess. Even on a day when fatigue is present or the kitchen feels overwhelming, this trio asks very little and gives much more. The best way to imagine the effect of this combination is to picture a steadying hand placed gently on your shoulder. Not forceful, not dramatic, just supportive. The kind of gesture that makes standing a little easier, moving a little safer, and breathing a little calmer. Chicken brings strength, broccoli brings repair, and sweet potatoes bring resilience. Together, they remind the body that it is not facing the day unsupported. As bones hold you upright, and the immune system works quietly in the background, these simple foods offer the kind of nourishment that allows life to continue with steadier steps and a bit more ease. When you are ready, we will move to the next combination, one that brings renewal to both the skin and the mind, like a window opening to let fresh air in. There are moments in life when the mirror reflects a face that has weathered seasons, carried responsibilities, and held memories close. With age, the skin begins to tell its story openly, and the mind too sometimes drifts or hesitates, as though searching for a path it once walked with ease. Many older adults experience a quiet decline in the variety of foods they eat, especially colorful vegetables. Appetite becomes delicate, energy smaller, and it becomes simpler to reach for whatever is familiar. Without realizing it, the plate slowly loses the vibrant colors that once nourished more than just the body. It is not a deliberate choice. It happens gently, almost invisibly, until one day the absence of color reflects an absence of certain nutrients that protect both the skin and the brain. Eggs, tomatoes, and cucumbers form a combination that restores some of what slips away during these years. Eggs carry choline, a nutrient that supports the pathways your brain uses for memory and focus, like a soft brush clearing dust from old shelves. Tomatoes come with lycopene, a natural protector that helps shield cells from the daily wear that accumulates quietly over decades. Cucumbers, with their water-rich freshness, bring hydration to tissues that often feel drier with age. Together, these foods offer support without heaviness, nourishment without burden. They bring vitality back to the plate in a way that feels gentle and familiar. This pairing appears in many Mediterranean homes, where elders often begin the day with simple, bright plates rather than heavy meals. A boiled egg alongside fresh vegetables is considered enough to awaken the body without overwhelming it. The mixture of protein and plant fibers supports digestion, helping nutrients move more easily through the system. These traditions arose from generations of observing how modest, colorful meals help maintain clarity, steady energy, and healthier aging. There is something almost poetic in how these cultures treat food not as a task, but as a morning ritual of renewal. For someone living alone or moving slowly in the morning, this trio offers an uncomplicated way to nourish body and mind without relying on long cooking sessions. A single boiled egg requires little attention. Tomatoes and cucumbers can be sliced in moments. The meal is light enough for days when appetite isn't strong, yet meaningful enough to support hydration, cognition, and cellular protection. This simplicity respects the realities of aging, limited mobility, low energy, or the emotional weight that sometimes makes cooking feel like too much. Instead of demanding effort, the plate feels like an invitation. Picture this combination as a window being opened in a room that has been closed for too long. Fresh air moves in, light shifts across the walls, and something inside the space seems to wake up. Eggs bring mental clarity, tomatoes bring cellular protection, and cucumbers bring hydration that travels softly through the body. It is renewal in the quietest sense, the kind that doesn't call attention to itself, but is felt in the way the day unfolds afterward. And as we continue, the next trio we explore will bring a different kind of support, one that helps the heart and digestion find a smoother, calmer rhythm. There is a kind of heaviness that appears gradually with age, especially after meals. Digestion slows, the heart works a little harder, and foods that were once easy can feel dense or unsettling. Many older adults begin choosing lighter portions without noticing that the body still needs steady nourishment, just offered in a gentler form. A simple combination like tuna, sourdough, and cucumbers can provide that balance without demanding much effort. Tuna brings omega-3 fats that help circulation remain smooth and supportive. Sourdough, with its natural fermentation, is friendlier to an aging stomach than regular bread, offering comfort without the weight. Cucumbers add the freshness and hydration that help the whole meal settle more easily. This trio resembles a quiet, flowing rhythm in the body. The protein supports the heart, the bread steadies energy, and the vegetables lighten everything that surrounds them. In coastal communities, this kind of plate has been part of daily life for generations, valued not for trend or theory, but because it leaves the body feeling nourished instead of strained. For someone living alone or moving slowly in the kitchen, it is a combination that respects limited energy. It comes together quickly, offers gentle support, and keeps the body moving with a little more ease and calm. Aging asks for steadier choices, the kind that support the body without overwhelming it. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara often said that after 60, well-being is built through small, consistent acts, and these simple food pairings follow that same spirit. They nourish muscles, bones, the heart, and the mind in ways that feel natural rather than demanding. Dr. D. Andrew Weil reminds us that whole foods combined with intention can calm the quiet inflammation that makes aging feel heavier than it needs to be. These meals are not about perfection, but about easing daily life and preserving independence with gentleness. Which simple meal brings you comfort on the days when energy feels thin?